But yeah, we have a couple of custom features for the Wii U. You'll always have your map visible, so you have a really big, clear map to see where you're going. And you can switch weapons, you can sort of switch tools on the tablet as well. So yeah, there are some custom features for the Wii U.
But that map being such a crucial part of the game, and having that taken off the screen and put it on the tablet, just makes that HUD much cleaner.
Yep, we did a lot of HUD work. I think you probably saw at the Ubisoft demo, but the HUD used to be all around the screen, you know, and we all pulled it down to the bottom as much as possible to sort of free up the top of the screen. So hopefully it's cleaner and a little simpler.
Mm-hmm. But, you didn't feel pressure at all to tack on any kind of more ambitious like motion gimmicks, like say, you know, like aiming with a cannon or something like that? That wasn't a
Yeah, I mean, we're in that sort of challenging spot where the game is so monstrous. And just we're trying to jam in all the content and polish it and make sure it's you know, as amazing as possible, that we just wanted to get sort of one unified game up and running.
Staying classy, if you will.
Yeah, stay classy. Okay. Always staying classy.
Nothing classier than killing the British.
A pertinent question here from Steadmister, given the nautical scenario we find ourselves in. Is Connor a swimmer? Can he still swim around?
He can swim around, yes. Like we kept all of the swimming, and there's actually even on the boat you'll see that you're actually on the boat. So you know we want it to be very clear that you are the character driving the boat and giving orders. And it's not an RTS game. It's not a simulation so much. It's still a third-person action adventure about navigation and combat as well. So yeah, Connor can still swim.
Excellent. Although this does not look like a swim-friendly place.
No, I would not swim in those seas.
A naval battle in high seas at night. I really like it when they break out the chain shot.
Yep.
Because that's, of course,
feature of the game. It's knitted into the core mechanics of the game, and it's not, you know, it's not this thing on the side.
Now, I know you've been working on this since 2010, but I've heard a few people already kind of comparing these gameplay sections to the tower defense bits in Revelations. How does it compare? Is it kind of along the same lines in terms of structure, or is it more freeform?
No, it's. I think the two big differences is that the tower defense was a strategy game inside an action game, whereas this is an action game inside an action game. And the other part is that the tower defense sort of popped up as a drag mechanic, so when you'd made a mistake, whereas this is all positive. So there's story reasons for why you take to the seas, story reasons for how you get involved in it, and it is its own side story.
Nice.
I just love seeing those long muskets come out. They're always longer than I think they should be, like so impractically long. And then of course, which makes closing distance with that hatchet so much more satisfying. Alex, thank you so much for coming by and showing off some Assassin's Creed 3. This is obviously one of the games that people are super excited for here at E3. And you just saw there, October 30th?
October 30th.
2012.
2012.
Excellent, Alex. Thank you so much. Johnny, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And folks, our next demo coming up is Forza Horizon. But before we do that, two things are going to happen. One, I'm going to take a little break, and my colleague Danny O'Dwyer is going to come on and host a couple demos. And two, we're going to check in with Brendan Sinclair, who's got the latest news here from E3, collated and all ready to go. Brendan?
Hey, Chris. So the big thing, of course, on the first day of E3 here is the press conferences. And this morning we had the Nintendo conference, and the big thing there, Pikmin 3, obviously. Shigeru Miyamoto comes out, takes the stage. And first thing, getting it out of the way, because he's mentioned Pikmin last couple E3s as a tease. He's like, here's Pikmin 3. Shows some gameplay, shows the new rock Pikmins. Looks really awesome. He showed some of the Wii U gamepad integration also. You're going to be able to use it sort of as a map and control multiple. They're not Olimar, they're other adventurers, but you're going to be able to get a little more tactical with it, I think. Beyond that, Nintendo first party, Wii Fit U and Sing, a couple of sort of casual targeted titles. Wii Fit U obviously uses the balance board. It's another continuation of that series. And then Sing is sort of a karaoke dance game combination intended for a bunch of people to play, one person singing maybe and everyone else getting in on the dancing action. And then they made a big point about third-party stuff also. So we had Lego City Undercover, really just kind of like blew away most of us in the GameSpot war room, because that game looks really awesome. It's like a charming version of Grand Theft Auto without, you know, the beating up hookers part. I guess the charming kind of precludes beating up hookers, but still, no hookers, no beating them up, just Lego, and it looks awesome. Scribblenauts Unlimited, and then if you want more the hardcore older gamer fare that Nintendo kind of hinted they'd be bringing to this show, you've got third-party titles like Batman Arkham City Armored Edition, Mass Effect 3. A really cool look at Tekken Tag Tournament 2, where it's not just the standard Tekken Tag battle. They also showed some Mario-like gameplay tweaks with characters getting bigger and getting smaller in the middle of the fight. Speaking of Mario, they briefly mentioned the 3DS in the conference. They'll show more about that at their event tomorrow night. But Nintendo 3DS games, New Super Mario Bros. 2 with a real focus on gold coins, almost to the point you'd think it was a Wario title. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which they talked about, but now they've given it an official subtitle. And then Paper Mario Sticker Star, which was another popular one in the GameSpot War Room, where they're implementing stickers into the gameplay in some unusual ways. And then beyond that, we had, it wasn't actually at Nintendo's press conference, but Platinum Games is making a Wii U game. You might know them from Bayonetta or Vanquish or Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. They are making a game, they're calling it P100 right now. And if you've been watching the stage show, you obviously saw kind of a big unveiling of it to kick off the show. That game looks pretty good. And that was about it from the Nintendo conference. Danny? I think I'm supposed to banter with you right now, but I can't actually hear you.
They don't want us. They don't want us to talk. I don't think it's.
Oh.
It's. You probably can't understand my accent anyway. Yeah, P100 wasn't actually shown at the Nintendo press conference. We had it here on the stage. Did they allude as to why maybe that game wasn't shown? Were they just focusing on first-party titles, or was there something specific about that they felt it didn't sort of fit in with the rest of the conference?
I'm just guessing here, but I think because it was a new IP and it wasn't really like Platinum's other games, they would have had to take so much of the conference to kind of lay it out for people. Here's what we're doing. Here's what's cool about it. Here's why you should care. That they felt that time was better devoted to Sing or We Fit You Plus. I don't know.
Titles like that. Do you have any more news for us?
Yeah, Microsoft announced that they have a promotion where if at a Microsoft store you buy an Xbox for $99 for an Xbox 360 and commit to 2 years of Xbox Live, that's like the cheapest way to get it. But it's only at Microsoft stores, and there's like a dozen of them in the country so far. But they're rolling that out all the way across country, every Best Buy store in the nation, and then select GameStop stores. And this sort of looks like it might be the way of the future for getting consoles, just by putting up a little amount of money right now and then committing to the longer online plan subscriptions. And it might mean that you get the next generation of consoles cheaper, or it might just mean that you wind up more in debt with things you can't afford. So that's kind of, good and bad. Other news. Yesterday, EA announced that they had the UFC license. Now, they actually bought that from THQ, and unfortunately, THQ San Diego had been working on a new UFC game. Without the license, THQ's like, we're not doing so well, we don't need you guys around as much. And there was a big round of layoffs at THQ San Diego that was kind of slipped in there in the middle of all the E3 hubbub, and it's kind of an easy story to miss. But unfortunately, that's, THQ San Diego, they made WWE All-Stars and TNA Impact because they used to be Midway San Diego. And so that was, that was another kind of outside of the news conferences story from E3. Back to the news conferences, though, recapping a little bit from yesterday, we kicked off with Microsoft, which showed Halo 4. Obviously, they kicked that off, and that looked really great. 343 Industries version, their take on Halo, the first one without Bungie developing. They showed a lot of new enemy types, some Forerunner weapons, at least, in the game. It's definitely a new take on the series that should be pretty interesting for fans. And then the Microsoft, their Smart Glass app technology, which will be PC, tablets, phones. Just you're going to be able to use Xbox features on all these devices, and they're really making a push to make it sort of the center of the living room, the digital hub of everything. Other big stuff from the conferences yesterday, Watch Dogs, Ubisoft's Watch Dogs. If you're not excited about this game, you probably haven't seen it. So fix that. Like, go watch our video stuff of it, because that really stole the show yesterday. What else did we have? Far Cry 3 was at Ubisoft show. Electronic Arts showed off Kinect integration for FIFA and Madden. Dead Space 3, they showed a lot of. Crysis 3, a lot of bows and arrows. We can go into this more, but I think you're about ready here with a look at Forza Horizon, if I'm right.
Cool.
So let's take it, Danny.
Thank you, Brendan. Thank you very much for the news update there. Welcome back to the live stage here at E3, folks. Danny O'Dwyer here, the slightly chubbier, more Irish version of Chris Waters. Delighted to be joined here by Dan Greenewald from Turn 10 Studios, creative director, I believe.
True.
And you're here to show us Forza, not Forza.
That's right.
Forza
Horizon.
Completely different direction for the series, some might say, from the outset. How will you sort of explain it to people how this is a similar Forza experience, but just at a different angle? Tell us basically what you...
Well, you know, Forza Horizon is an all-new expression in the Forza franchise. To date, it's been expressed through Forza Motorsport. Hugely authentic, known as a simulator. But Forza Horizon is an action racing game. And what that means is you can drive through the, weave through traffic and smash through things and have a great time. But underpinning all of that is an extremely authentic simulation physics engine. So it feels like Forza, but it drives like an action game.
So this is the same engine that previous Forza 4 is running on as well?
It is. It's a lot of the same tech. So the game looks fantastic because it's using our same IBL, image-based lighting, for the graphics. And then it's using the same AI system, Drivatar, and of course using the same physics engine running at 360 hertz.
So why the direction of taking something from a predominantly circuit racing game into this kind of open world experience?
Well, you know, the vision for Forza is to turn gamers into car lovers and car lovers into gamers. I've been working on this franchise for almost 10 years, and the thing that gets me excited about coming to work every day is passion. Passion for gaming culture, passion for car culture. And that's what both games share, Motorsport and Horizon. They're all about that passion. Now, in Horizon in particular, that passion is expressed through a motorsport and music festival, the Horizon Festival. And it's where you'd bring your cars to have a good time with your friends. It's much more social. So they really fit together nicely, complementing each other.
So in the yesterday we saw the demo of some sort of street racing on the way to the festival. How does the sort of the campaign or how does the game work in terms of is there a story narrative bringing you linear through it? Do you play as a character, or is it just your car and your personality interacting in different events at the festival?
Well, let's get the game started, and you'll get to see some of what's happening.
Cool.
So at the heart of this entire world is the music festival, the Horizon Festival. And this world is Colorado. Looks fantastic. I actually lived in Colorado for a while.
Oh, nice.
And this is an original version of Colorado that has all of the diversity you'd expect. So red rocks, mountains, it's got the plains, all packed in with some of the greatest driving roads in the world. But the way you actually play through the game is you show up as a festival driver. And your goal is twofold. You want to win races, of course, and there's a lot of different races. There's circuit races, point-to-point races, showcase races where you might race against a plane. Incredibly cool races. Yeah.
An airplane.
Exactly. So like having an old Mustang racing against a P-51 Mustang plane through checkpoints.
Okay.
It's just a cool way of racing. So that's kind of the sanctioned side of the Horizon Festival. But meanwhile, as you're driving around, you're getting points for drifting in and out of traffic and just hooning it up on the road. And when you're doing that, you're becoming more popular. So it's much more social in that way. You're becoming a popular driver and actually getting more wristbands.
Oh, wonderful. So what was the sort of idea for this different direction? Why was it that you decided to take it in sort of this, I guess, Burning Man for cars kind of an idea?
Well, it was actually born out of that vision. Gamers to car lovers to gamers. And we realized, Turn 10, fantastic studio. We've really tried to push with innovation and the like. But honestly, we thought if we could find a partner that shared our culture and our language and had a world-class dev team, together we could arm in arm actually push this genre forward with more innovation. So we went with Playground Games. They're located in Leamington Spa. They're an all-new company, but full of veterans. And the UK dev community, been fantastic for years, Signosis, Codemasters, Bizarre Creations, BlackRock. So Playground is able to become another hub of great racing game development. And they brought this Horizon into this vision. I basically challenged them. I said, hey, you get the vision, you get the culture, you know what we want to do. How would you express it? And the first thing they came back with was, man, it's youth culture. Bring
Yeah.
that in, bring music in, get that going. And then they also brought in a DJ, Rob DeBank. So he's on BBC One. He's also a record label owner as well as a promoter. So he's promoted the Bestival Festival.
Yes.
It's in the UK, very, very popular.
Great festival. Yeah.
So he was brought in actually as a consultant to do the radio stations, the music, as well as the look of this festival. You know, saying, look, tents would be like this in the US at like Coachella, and this is how you do the parking, and really make it completely authentic. Because that's the name of the game in Forza, authenticity.
Got a very important question. Will there be dubstep at this festival?
There is dubstep on the radio, and there's dubstep on the stage.
All dubstep, all the time.
Yeah.
I just want to remind people watching this on our live stream, if you send us an email either on the live stream page, or you can send us over Twitter to GameSpotE3, hashtag GameSpotE3, then I'll ask Dan your questions. Do you feel a responsibility as one of the biggest car franchises out there to sort of bridge the gap between car enthusiasts and people who may want to play racing games but don't feel like they're part of that culture? Like how much, because that seems to be a lot of what you're doing here. It's bridging the social side of people who like cars and then people who just like playing driving games.
Absolutely, and that's what it comes down to. Our team is made up of hardcore gamers. You know, I've put in 140 hours into Skyrim. You know, we all play a ton of games, but also, you know, we track our cars and have a great time playing with cars on the track. And our goal is to actually push both cultures forward. That's the whole gamers to car lovers to gamers. It's easy to say, but it actually means a lot to us. And honestly, you know, I'm almost 40. I've got a couple kids, and I want them to be into cars the way I am.
Yeah.
And so I see it as our responsibility, not to compete against other this or what have you, but push the genre forward, push entertainment forward. And that's obviously a hugely lofty goal. And, you know, I'm not silly. I know how lofty it is, but that's what keeps me coming to work every day is that passion and excitement to actually move it forward.
Just looking at the gameplay demo we're seeing here, yesterday we saw some sort of glorious vistas. I kind of want to go to Colorado now. The tourist board should be paying you guys some cash, I think. Right now we're looking at nighttime. Well, what's the sort of variety in terms of environmental? Is it all desert-based? Is it different like that? And also in terms of day-night cycles?
Well, you know, once the Playground guys settled on having a festival as the hub, they knew it had to be open world. And once it went open world, they were looking for the right environment. So they went to 30 different environments and looked for ones that had great diversity. They had great driving as well as Vista diversity, and they settled on Colorado, which looks fantastic. And so when you're driving around in here, not only do you have the beautiful vistas in the Red Rocks area we're in right now, but you've got the plains, the driving roads are fantastic. Also, once you're in open world, a 24-hour day-night cycle just makes sense.
Yeah.
So we used a debug sheet to actually switch it from day to night kind of instantaneously, but it's a 24-hour cycle that's always going around. Now also, the developers at Playground have a lot of experience working on Colin McRae, Dirt, and some of those great franchises. So this open world also has off-road racing.
That's a first for the Forza series.
It is, absolutely. And having the expertise of the Colin McRae guys, we're able to take the Forza Motorsport engine, which is a fantastic simulation engine, you know, running at 360 hertz, and update that with over 65 different surface types. Dirt, gravel,
65?
You know,
how many types of dirt are there?
You know, we're obsessive. That was actually part of the cultural thing we realized about the guys at Playground, the guys at Turn 10. Authenticity we take very seriously. Maybe to a fault. We think our fans appreciate it, so we take it seriously.
Got a question here from Carl Duran in Dublin, and a special shout out to everyone watching this in Europe. I know it's like probably nearly 11 p.m. or 12 at night time there. He's asked a very important question. Can you still paint your cars?
Absolutely.
So what type of customization is there in terms of in the Forza
This
Horizon?
is a Forza game, and Forza is a fan-driven franchise, which means, of course, we have upgrades, and you've got a lot of cars that you can you know, really have great experiences in, including off-road, and of course painting as well. So it's integrated with the website, and yeah, great painting, and you'll see plenty of cars with lots of liveries. So you think about a summer music festival, it's all about showing off and showing your style. So the livery editor is going to make even more sense there.
A couple of people in the chat here saying that they've played some of the older Forzas and maybe haven't played the latest one. So in terms of, I guess, people who've played Forza 1 or 2, or maybe people who are looking at this game and seeing maybe I'd like to get back into car racing games, what's the sort of learning curve? What's the bump for somebody who's maybe played a couple of non-simulation, not to be arbitrary and split things into arcade and simulation, but those types of games, trying to get into this one? How have you sort of dealt with that?
Well, it's always been important in Forza to hopefully erase the line between arcade and simulation and say if you build the game correctly, you can have the foundation, the core, be an absolutely fantastic simulation, but then add assists. things like TCS and ABS, driving assist, even steering assist, and then the green line, as well as things like rewind to make it easier to jump into. So this is an action racing game. It means you can pick it up, play, instantly be driving 150 miles per hour on a Viper down a highway, and at the same time, the underpinnings are a fantastic simulation engine.
What's your take on the sort of the driving game situation of the past 3 years? We've seen some great innovation from the guys at Codemasters. We've seen great innovation from Yi. We've also seen the problems that maybe Bazaar had with games like Blur, where games that seemed to be doing quite well or were popular with the people who played them didn't sell. How are you reading the sort of the divide between arcade and simulation? And is this a means of trying to bridge that gap, or is it just do you see that the people who are fans of Forza are looking for maybe a different type of experience?
It's a great question. I can't say that I'm some industry expert about all of the business. I've been in the industry a long time, but it ebbs and flows quite a bit. For us personally, it was horrible to see some of the closures in the racing game space in the UK, and so we saw working with Playground as an opportunity to capture some of the great innovation and talent in the UK and bring it towards our franchise. So that was great. As far as arcade versus simulation, again, for me, I think if you build the game correctly, you can actually serve both audiences without sacrificing either.
Pierre Fouquet, I believe is his name, said, is there still Top Gear stuff in Horizon?
Well, the interesting thing is that Top Gear in Forza Motorsport 4 was kind of bringing levity to the game because the game had a serious tone to it. And so it's sort of like a play-by-play and a color commentary working together in tandem. Well, the Horizon Music Festival has a lot of character and a lot of social aspects just because it's a music festival. It also takes place in North America, in Colorado. So in a lot of ways, the alignment between Top Gear and Forza Horizon was not as clear-cut.
That's great. Thank you very much for bringing along Forza Horizon. Whenabouts are we going to be able to play this game?
This game is going to be available starting October 23rd on the Xbox 360.
Wonderful. Thanks very much, Dan.
Thank you.
We're going to Carlos, I believe, who was wandering around the Microsoft booth tour. I think it's Microsoft. Let's see.
Hey everybody, Carlos Rodella here from GameSpot's coverage of E3 2012. We're here with Letty Cherry.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. Your name is awesome, by the way.
Why, thank you.
We're at the Microsoft booth. It is huge. I was going to do a booth tour, but there really is no way to do that. It's just too many games.
We have the biggest lineup of games ever, I think, with Xbox this year at E3.
Ever? That's a big ever? Okay, I can go with it. You also have a Warthog. It's behind you.
We do. I mean, with Halo 4, we have our Warthog here. We've got Gears of War. It's a pretty exciting year for Xbox.
I think I'm going to get on the Warthog later, and if that's okay, can I do that?
For you can do it.
For me?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So what are the other games that you're showing up here that you like? I mean, there's some Kinect titles right there that seem really cool.
That's right. I mean, we've got Dance Central 3, which is better than ever. We've got Nike Plus Kinect Training. Racketeer is really, really fun.
Oh, yeah. It's totally fun. Yeah.
Fable the Journey, fully Kinect enabled.
Yeah, Fable Journey's finally like really here now, and not just like the little video, so it's cool.
It's definitely, it's looking great.
It's here and present. And also I saw a lot of different third-party stuff that was really cool.
That's right. I'm really excited about some of the sports games that are coming out, like Madden NFL 13 and FIFA 13. Those are going to be great. I mean, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Everybody loves war. Come on. Also with the sports stuff, you got the multimedia stuff going on, with the announcements today about NFL and NBA.
That's right. We're really thinking that Xbox is becoming the home of sports. I mean, last year we talked about UFC and ESPN.
Which is awesome, by the way. Thank you.
And we've added even more content to ESPN, so you can get all of your favorite sports, NFL. And plus, we've got NHL and MLB and NBA. We'll have all your great sports experiences, and you can do picture-in-picture. You can make your picks.
Yeah, I love the choosing like who's going to win with your friends, stuff like that. And so NBA works with the League Pass, right? You have to have the League Pass, and then you have it on Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, it's tons of NBA games, plus you'll have all of the greatest clips and highlights as well.
Cool. So that's awesome, and also the Smart Glass technology, getting all this stuff connected, right?
That's right. So with Xbox Smart Glass, you can actually enjoy your favorite movies, games, music, and TV shows, and it's between your TV and your tablets, your phones, and whatever device you already have. You can not only share content back and forth, but it knows what you're watching and can push information to your other devices.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like that.
So say you're watching like Game of Thrones or something, you can it'll know that you're watching it on your TV, and it'll push out maps of where you're traveling, talk about characters.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Now we could talk for a long time about Game of Thrones if we wanted to. All of us probably. We shouldn't but I did like that feature a lot. Having the map there, especially because it's so convoluted of a show, you know, that's really cool. All right, well, thanks for showing us a little bit of what's going on.
Thank you so much for coming.
And I think I'm going to get on the Warthog now, so let's go do that. You want to go on with me?
I will. Okay. Okay.
That's
Here at the GameSpot live show, and there's nobody sitting down beside me, so I'm just going to go to the chat and see what you guys are talking about. Aaron Sampson, BF3 Close Quarters, is looking for Spaz 2 Rocks. Went 10-2 KD, new knife looks cool. Armored Kill has C-130 gunship. I have absolutely no idea what that means. John Davison is on the other live stage at the moment, guys. Don't forget, we've got a bunch of live streams going on. Carlos is somewhere in this massive conference center walking around. You can check out that live stream. We've got 2 of those apparently. And there's some really cool stuff coming up on John Davison's show, which is just here behind me. You can check out that on the homepage. Personally, at 3:30, Rich Gallup, ex-GameSpot presenter, used to sit at this very table. Well, maybe not this very table. This is made out of medium density fiberboard. I think it's probably going to be broken by the end of the week. Used to host On the Spot, and Greg Casavan used to be editor of the site as well, are over with John Davison at 3:30. Next up, we've got Lego Batman 2 with Jonathan Smith, who is from Traveller's Tales, who are based in Knutsford in North England. Apparently, we're going to go to a tape segment of myself. I can't wait to see this. Danny, what's going on? No? There you go.
Now, you'll be seeing a lot of spectacular conferences this week. Ours is a little different. Less like the Oscars, more like Sundance. Drop-in, drop-out co-op.
Here's where the fun begins. Fuck this place.
Sundance.
Now we're getting somewhere.
That's way too big of a meal to consume. It will overwhelm you, but what you can do is what I did, take little bites. You know.
Runtime physics. Sundance.
SimCity Social is coming to Facebook.
Less like the Oscars, more like
An all-new SimCity coming for the PC.
We're excited to announce Battlefield 3 Premium. It's exclusive in-game items, deeper customization, unique events, new dog tags, cool camo skins, and advanced features.
Battlefield 3. That's insanely awesome. This July, everyone can play the game up to level 15 for free. Of hardcore, nightmare difficulty modes for
Sundance.
Medal of Honor Warfighter.
Green light, brother. They're going in.
FIFA 13. We are connective tissue for the world's sport. Connective tissue. Connective tissue. Connective tissue. Connective tissue.
Sundance.
This is a huge day for the UFC, a big day for the fighters, and more importantly, for you, the fans.
I'm really excited to announce that Need for Speed Most Wanted is launching October 30th.
Crysis 3 is out in February 2013.
So that's our show, Sundance.
Folks, we're still waiting for Lego Batman 2 to be set up, so in the meantime, in lieu of me talking to the camera on my own like a complete lunatic,
Johnny Kididi has joined me. Hi, Johnny.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm not bad. It's kind of funny given that this is my first E3 and your first E3.
Yes.
We're now on the stage. It kind of feels like the lunatics are running the asylum.
It does, absolutely. In fact, you're a lunatic who edited that video.
Yeah, I was actually just standing over there and I heard the track playing. And I was like, oh, I know this. How do I know this video? Oh yeah, I finished making it like 10 hours ago.
Yeah. Small hours.
I kind of made it in what I can only describe as a fever dream, fueled by coffee and the ham duet, the dubious sandwich that I was given for lunch, and yeah, that's what came out.
We've done a couple. So I did Microsoft. They're kind of like mash-up videos.
Yeah.
And so we've done Microsoft. We've done Ubisoft. We've done.
Yeah, I've just done Sony. That's literally just gone up on the site, so that's there now.
That's
and
great.
We should
we've
have
been
Ubi.
joined by Jonathan Smith.
No, Philip Ring, actually.
Sorry?
My name's Philip Ring.
Philip.
Sorry.
You're way better than Jonathan Smith. I was hoping he wasn't going to come up, to be honest. I was like, I hope they bring Philip up.
Yeah.
From Traveller's Tales?
Indeed.
Wonderful.
Indeed.
You're from Knutsford. Well, you're working in Knutsford, are you?
Yeah. So we got our Knutsford office. Guys make all the Lego games. So
wonderful. So it's been what, like 4 years since Lego Batman 1?
Yeah. I don't think it's quite that long, but yeah, it's about 3 years.
Big mix-up this time around. Open world, crazy, like.
Yeah.
Much broader idea. What's the deal? Why this complete change for a?
Well, that was it. It was kind of like, well, we did Lego Batman 1, and we loved playing around in that world and going, okay, Batman's brilliant, and we're going, right, we're going to do a sequel, but we had to make sure that we were doing it at the right time because we wanted to do something much bigger, much better. So we were like, great, what does that mean? What can we do that's different that people haven't done before? So we were like, great, let's give Gotham City, the whole of Gotham City, play around in. We'll do talking minifigs because that kind of came back from feedback that we got from the first Lego Batman. People loved the cutscenes but didn't quite get the story because you don't have the same point of reference you do for something like Star Wars because of the films or Harry Potter because of the films and the books. So we were like, okay, let's make them talk. Let's do talking minifigs and then throw in a whole load of other DC characters as well and make them part of this much bigger kind of world and playground that you get to have fun with.
Well, we had you guys waiting for a long time, so why don't you start playing? If anyone has any questions, please tweet us, #GameSpotE3. Or you can tweet me directly at Danny O'Dwyer, and I'll no doubt pick it up as well. So where are we now at the moment? This looks suspiciously like Batman's cave.
So yep, here we have the Batcave, and this is kind of like your main kind of central point within the game. You always come back here. This is where you can do your replay levels.
Yeah.
But as we mentioned, we've got the whole of Gotham City to play around in. So this is where the hub gets much bigger than this. So here we have Batman and Robin. We've got these vehicle spawn points. You see one in the middle here. The one over on the far left, that allows you to spawn in aerial vehicles, so you can spawn in the Batwing. The one on the right allows you to spawn in things like the Batboat, so any sea-based vehicles. And the one in the middle allows us to spawn in kind of ground-based vehicles, any kind of cars, trucks. Here we've got a whole selection of them here. So you can spawn in the Batmobile, there's a Batbike. We've got vehicle villains as well, so Two-Face has a truck. We've got some quite strange things. There's a pumpkin car there for which kind of like your Scarecrow. Fire engine, because it's a Lego game, you kind of want that side of things as well. But what I'll do is just jump into the Batmobile and we'll shoot out into Gotham City. So we really just kind of wanted to make a whole kind of host of Lego things that people get to play around in. So
yeah,
the Lego sets.
You guys kind of throw caution to the wind on that. You're not too worried about like canon, or it's just play around what you want. You can. I'm guessing you can still customize the character to the nth degree as well, just throwing different heads on and stuff.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things about Lego Batman, because you can do a custom character, but you can give them the superpowers that people want to use. So you can make someone that looks like Superman, has all of his abilities, but then you can make someone who looks like Harley Quinn and has all of Superman's abilities, and then just kind of mix it up, kind of go, right, I want the Penguin's torso on Killer Croc's head with kind of Superman's quiff, and just kind of have that fun with it and just muck around within the world. So within Gotham City as well, we've got a third-person camera. So this is the first time we've ever done this for a Lego game. So you really can explore the whole of Gotham City. You're not restricted by the camera view while in Gotham. The Batmobile, of course, has to have its weaponry. So it's got like a machine gun. You can also shoot rockets. You can use that to blow up silver Lego, and it unlocks new areas.
Are you shooting at civilians there?
Sorry?
Are you shooting at civilians there?
I'm not. So this is Gotham City in chaos.
Okay.
So as we can see, we've got a whole load of goons running around. They're the ones with the weapons. So that guy's throwing pies at people, and they're chasing down the civilians who are kind of all running in panic. And this is all because of the story. So what's happened is Lex Luthor and the Joker have teamed up. And in breaking Joker out of Arkham, they've unleashed a whole load of other Arkham Asylum inmates. And this is where the whole of Gotham City's gone into chaos. It's now up to Batman and Robin, plus all the other characters within the DC world, to kind of round up all these villains. So what I'll do is I'll just jump into Superman and show you his kind of flying mechanic and how big the city is.
In fact, we got a question here from Chris O'Toole, who's tweeted us asking how many superheroes and villains are playable.
So we've got 50 characters within the world that you can unlock. We wanted to make sure that there were some characters that people would know from the Batman universe, but also do the kind of like the DC universe and Justice as well. So one of the characters that we're actually going to talk about and show today is General Zod. So as a kind of like a Superman bad guy, we wanted to include him. We got people in there like Brainiac, and then we got people like Hawkman, so from the Justice League, Flash, Cyborg, and all these characters kind of have their own feel towards things. So Flash acts very differently to how Cyborg as a player, or if you're playing as Batman and Robin. So this is our Lego Gotham City. So
it's incredible. We actually saw this at the MCM Expo in London a couple of weeks back. Myself and Johnny, we had a stage down there, and when we first saw this part of it, it was just quite shocking and unexpected from a Lego game.
Well, that's exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to give people this feeling of something they've never seen before and never had the ability to do. And when doing characters such as Superman, it's important that you can do things like fly. You want to be able to fly. You want to be able to use his heat vision, his kind of freeze breath, kind of freeze enemies, use it to save things. But then do it with kind of like a Lego humour, so you can kind of go crashing straight into the ground, get Superman stuck in the ground. And this is kind of like what Lego games we get to do. We get to have a lot of fun within the world. So what I'll do is I'll actually show General Zod.
Alright.
So when we've added him as a character, he's actually added as a boss within Gotham City. You can find him. Once you find him and defeat him, you can then unlock him. And where we've got voice in the game for the first time, these characters have their own lines. So they've all got scripted lines which have been recorded. And some of them are really funny, some of them are kind of a bit silly, some of them playing on the characters and what people would expect from them, but just going to be able to use these characters in a different way.
That's kind of a controversial decision, I guess, in one way, because while some people enjoy the voiceless cutscenes from, it's kind of like a staple, I guess, of the Lego series, is the sort of the nodding and winking that goes on. How tough was that decision to...
It was definitely something we wanted to make sure we did right. Yeah. We knew that we were going to add voices. We wanted to do some tests to see what that meant, what it changed, how cutscenes were different. And what we found is we actually still get to do all the humour that people would expect within the Lego scenes, because you can always have stuff going on in the background. Yes. So Batman can be having a really in-depth conversation with, say, Commissioner Gordon, and Robin can be clowning around in the background doing some really random things. And we also get to write the humour within the kind of the speech as well. So we play up on the characters, the way they interact with the world, and kind of have a lot of fun with what they say and how they act between each other.
Sure. So this is an open world game, so presumably that you can hire prostitutes and then kill them.
Unfortunately not. Gotham City doesn't seem to have any, so it's just got loads of citizens in peril.
Yeah, what types of missions basically
there's citizens in peril that you need to go rescue. So they'll be stuck in some comical places, like someone might be stuck in a fire hydrant, whereas someone else might be stuck being caught by one of Poison Ivy's Venus flytraps. And so kind of being able to play up on the different things that you'll be able to do to rescue them. What I'm going to do is just jump to another level and show you one of the other things that we're kind of revealing today.
Cool.
As part of the story, Lex Luthor and Joker kind of team up, and they're trying to take over the world. It all starts off with Lex losing the Man of the Year awards, and that's kind of where he gets this idea that he's gonna team up with Joker and see what he can do and kind of like take over Gotham and eventually the world. But in doing so, they need something to kind of give them the edge. So Batman, Superman, they've got superpowers. They're these kind of like ridiculous, like huge characters within the world. Yeah. How do you defeat them? So what they do is they actually build this Joker robot, which is kryptonite powered, giant Lego Joker robot with a massive deconstructor cannon. And the deconstructor pulls apart black Lego. So he can shoot it at the Batmobile and blow it to pieces. Shoot it at the Batwing, takes it down. And this is kind of like, this is effectively Batman's kryptonite. So here
he can't drive around in a pink Batmobile.
He's a massive goth.
So here we've got here, so we've got the Joker robot, and this is actually, this is the Joker robot, and here's his giant cannon. And for this level, we have it so the Batmobile, and you'll be basically luring the Joker robot around Gotham City.
Right.
So here we have you'll actually notice there's a special Batmobile in the game. So this is a Batmobile but made out of Robin's colours, and that's because the deconstructor only works on black Lego.
Sure.
So this enables us to kind of show a different Batmobile, and kind of this is what you get to do with Lego, have a bit of fun with things. So here we have the Joker robot, and it's stomping after you, chasing you through the city. And the idea on this section is it's like almost like an on-rail shooter. You need to take down different objectives. So here we've blown up a minifig statue. Joker robot goes smashing through it, and you can use it to slow it down. But of course, with the LEGO game, there's always loads of collectibles. So you'll have things like there's mini kits in there that you can shoot down. There's that billboard. If I shoot that, it gives me a mini kit. And being able to have all the collectibles and replay value, so reason to go back to these levels, but also just going to be able to do some really ridiculous things. And this Joker robot, the kind of the LEGO model, the guys do a fantastic job of kind of making these models. And they spend absolutely ages making sure that they're all very key to the LEGO world. Of course. So we work closely with LEGO to make sure that everything is a realistic LEGO build. So this model, if you were to build it in real life, would actually be absolutely massive. And it's just we love to be able to kind of do these things. We find that the LEGO fans really love that, and we also get to do a lot of things for the DC fans and the comic fans as well.
We have a question here from Dan Seeley, who's asked over Twitter: with multiplayer, how is the open Gotham City handled when multiple players are on the screen? That must have been incredibly difficult, considering you've got so many assets to draw into this world with 2 different cameras.
Well, that was it. It was always a kind of a technical challenge, and we knew that we wanted to kind of push the engine as far as we could. The guys up at Traveller's Tales do an absolutely fantastic job of being able to do that and kind of be able to do new things with the games and trying to make new worlds for people to play in. And the kind of split screen works in that way. So at any point you can, it's just like you'd expect from a LEGO game. There's drop-in, drop-out co-op. You press the start button, second person drops in, and you're in split screen. So the pair of you can then go off and explore Gotham City at your own speeds. You can come back together, work together to take down a boss. One you can jump in the Batwing, the other one jumps in the Batmobile, and you go off in your own way. And we wanted to kind of give people that freedom. So that was something that was important, that the co-op gameplay still remains. We didn't want to turn this into a single-player title. Dynamic split screen returns within the levels as well. So as you've seen from our recent titles, the camera kind of splits and allows you to kind of access different areas and kind of gives that dynamic. But when you come back together, the screen returns to normal.
So you're not tethered at all?
No, you can go off and kind of really explore at your own pace.
User Cody Wynn has asked on the email underneath the video, will there be different weathers like rain and stuff? And also, just if I can be so bold as to add to that question, is this all set during nighttime as a tonal thing, or is there daytime in it as well?
We actually had to play around with day and night cycles within Gotham, and it just doesn't work. Gotham City needs to be dark, it needs to be moody, and so we decided, right, we're going to set it at this kind of twilight moment. The weather does actually change depending on what part of the story you're on.
Okay.
So as things kind of get a bit dark and stormy within the story, the city kind of changes and reflects in that way.
Nice.
So the Joker robot here, Joker's not in that.
Yeah, they are. So
really?
Both Joker and Lex are kind of piloting this giant robot. You'll notice that there's green kryptonite kind of spilling from it, and that's kind of having a reaction to what's in the world. What happens within the story is, as you kind of progress and the Joker robot is introduced, this kryptonite's introduced. This green Lego's introduced, which is the kryptonite spilling out. But because we've got characters like Green Lantern, that actually turns into the same mechanic that Green Lantern can interact with. So he can then build stuff out of it that no one else can do, because he's using his ring and be able to interact with this green Lego within the world. So that was kind of a way that we get to go, okay, here's a new ability and here's a new mechanic, and we'll give it to Green Lantern, because that is what Green Lantern and what people who are fans of Green Lantern would expect to do.
So kind of in keeping with the tradition of Lego games, you need to use the full complement of characters in order to really get everything out of each level.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be able to switch around as well. We've also got we've introduced what we've called Super Free Play. We had it in Pirates, the ability to kind of press Y at any point, hold it up, and change to whichever character you want.
Sure.
So whenever you're in a free play environment, you can be halfway through a level and go, you know what, I don't want to be Cyborg anymore, I want to be the Penguin. And you can switch to the Penguin, run around as the Penguin for a bit. And you've been able to kind of give that freedom. And that also implies with the custom characters as well. So if you make your own superhero within the world, you can then switch to that character in free play and kind of play around with that super character.
Do you have online multiplayer at all?
Not online multiplayer, no. With LEGO games, we always find that people, they have the best experiences when they're playing together in the same room. So two people sat side by side, that's kind of like where LEGO games work there in their best form, basically. We do have the handheld version, which has local play. So if you've got 2 Vitas, 2 3DSs, 2 DSs, you can play local kind of co-op.
Great. I'm going to ask a question that I'm guessing is going to have an incredibly long answer. What platform is going to have an incredibly long answer? What platforms is Lego Batman 2 out on?
Yep, so it's coming out on Xbox 360, PS3, Wii, DS, 3DS, Vita, PC, Mac.
N-Gage, Sega Saturn.
Saturn version, that would be good actually. So, pretty much everything available.
So in some of the previous games, there's been different ways the campaigns have worked. Is this a purely linear game? And is there a lot of jumping back to older chapters and whatnot?
Well, we definitely wanted to keep that, because that's almost like core LEGO gameplay. So you get to play through the story levels, and that's kind of like where the real story and the drama comes in, and that's where kind of Superman's introduced, and then eventually the rest of the Justice League. once you complete the story mode, you can still always go back and play these levels in free play. So when you unlock new characters, you unlock new areas, new secrets to find. So it really is about going back and kind of revisiting these areas still, using the special abilities that people like the Riddler has, or the Joker, or Lex Luthor. Because although the Joker robot's got this massive deconstructor cannon, Lex Luthor also has a handheld version. So you can run around and use that within levels and take down stuff.
Has there ever been anything you've suggested that the owners of these properties have said no? No, we can't do that.
No, we've always had a really brilliant working relationship with people. So we work really closely with DC on this title to make sure that everything was kind of like within the DC world. And it's actually brilliant for us because they can just turn around to us and go, okay, so we're going to do Cyborg. And they were like, okay, well, you could use the new 52 version. And we were like, that's brilliant, we'd love that. So the Cyborg minifig within the world is the one that you'd see if it was a minifig version of the new 52 outfit. And it was great that we kind of worked really closely with DC. And they gave us some brilliant kind of advice on what to use. And yeah, we've always been really lucky because everyone kind of seems to get what a LEGO game's all about and say, right, these games are about fun, about humour, about doing things a little bit different. And they work really closely with us.
Cool. Is there anything else you can show us outside of this Joker killing your car over and over?
What I'll do is I'll just jump into another one of the levels, and I'll just show you the intro. Wonderful. So this is another involvement within the kind of like the involvement of the Justice League and the Justice League characters.
Okay.
So.
Well, once it's loading, is there any like issue? Oh well, here we are.
So this is actually one of the great things that we get to do. So this is Vicky Vale, so within the Gotham City world and within Batman universe. And we've almost done these kind of like news broadcasts. So she's telling you what's going on as you're loading into every level. Yeah. And we just get to have a lot of fun with that. The ticker text as well. That's all. It's not just kind of subtitles of what she's saying. It's got its own gags within it. So there's reasons to go back and watch the cutscenes 2 or 3 times because you'll see different things each time.
Yeah, it's all super heroics likely there.
Yes.
That was a nice touch.
What sort of time frame does the game play itself over the main campaign? Is it over the space of like a couple of months, weeks, if months and weeks even exist in LEGO World?
It's all kind of within kind of like a few days really. So
Okay.
this is all these kind of big dramatic events that happen. There's actually some levels where you go outside of the kind of outside of Gotham City. So there's a level where you visit LexCorp, and that's based in Metropolis. So it's a slightly different kind of dynamic there with things. So here we have the Justice League characters all kind of turning up. Here's the Joker robots decided to go take down Wayne Tower. So here we have Wonder Woman and Superman holding up Wayne Tower while the other superheroes turn up.
Have a chat, seemingly.
Question here from the emails. Armor Motion has asked, are there multiple stories to play in the game, or is it a single story walkthrough?
It's we want to kind of focus on a single story. This is really about kind of Batman and his relationship with Superman. So there's always been that kind of
his relationship with Superman.
There's always been.
I knew they were going to unveil a homosexual character the last week.
I do believe you're putting words in this poor man's mouth.
Okay. I am not saying it goes down that route.
Okay.
It's to do with the kind of like the unease that Batman and Superman have.
Yes.
So Batman never really trusts Superman because of the amount of power he has, and we kind of play up in a LEGO version of that kind of that dynamic. Right. And this is what this story is all about. This is about Batman and Superman eventually teaming up, working together to take down a bigger threat. And this is where the other Justice League characters also turn in. So in this level, we actually can take control of Batman, Robin, Cyborg, and Green Lantern. And as mentioned, with the characters with flight, you can fly in the levels as well as within the city. So this allows you to get to different areas within the level. We can hide away secrets. So you can go into a level that by default won't have a flying character. So the very first level you play as Batman and Robin, you can go back with a flying character and access different areas.
Yes.
So being able to use those abilities.
Is there tactical deciding what character you want to be for specific missions? Like
there is, but kind of with the ability to kind of jump in and out with super free play, it's not a decision. Like you can basically pick who you want to be and have fun with that. So if, for example, you decide you want to be a bad guy and go, okay, I want to be Lex Luthor, you can switch to him straight away. You want to give people that freedom to kind of just have some fun with it.
Now, we're getting an on-screen prompt here saying that you need a special suit to do something. What's all that about?
Yeah, so the different suits are kind of like the tech and the gadgets that they have within the world. So Batman and Robin have all these gadgets that they can use to kind of interact with different things. And we wanted to kind of make them more of a step on than we had in the first Batman game.
Sure.
So we've got suits there such as the power suit. Now the power suit in the first game allowed you to, was kind of like the detonator suit, it allowed you to put bombs down, they blow up, and that was its only function.
Sure.
This time the power suit now puts Batman in this hulking armor. He can shoot rockets, he can pick people up, throw them, pull down strength handles, and you can use it in combat as well as kind of puzzle solving. kind of being able to add that new kind of like dynamic to it, and that applies for all of the suits. So Robin's acrobat suit allows him to access new areas, do new things, which he couldn't do in his default suit, but also change the way he fights. So he now fights with a pole and staff. He can turn into a Zorb ball and kind of do all these different new features that the suits kind of bring. And these are what the gadgets allow you to do within the world.
Cool. So Philip, when about can we see Lego Batman 2 on store shelves?
So it's actually being released on the 19th of June and 20th, 22nd on in Europe. So.
And what were those platforms again?
Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Wii, DS, 3DS, Vita, PC, and Mac.
And Sega Saturn.
And Sega Saturn.
And who knows? This is big scoop. Thanks very much for coming along.
No worries.
Jonas, and thanks Johnny for sitting down and keeping me company.
My pleasure.
We have a booth tour with Carlos Rodella. I believe we're seeing Microsoft next, so let's go and see what Carlos is up to.
We build computers, robots, whole unmanned armies, and no one ever asks what happens when the enemy steals the keys.
Today, it's all about Xbox 360.
Xbox. Bing comedies.
At the line of
Set
scrimmage.
hike! Set hike! Set hike!
And I loved the season finale last night.
Set hike! I'm proud to announce our plans to deliver the music service we have always dreamed of building. We call it Xbox Music. Set hike! Xbox, el planeta de los simios revolución. I'm excited to announce the NBA is coming to Xbox. Well, next season, the NHL is coming to Xbox. Live programming events through Watch ESPN on Xbox 360.
Keyboards don't belong in the living room.
Imagine a game that combines giant cannons, tons of explosives, massive castles infested with goblins, and the power of Kinect. Sounds pretty rad to me.
This sucks. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the future of fitness.
Set hike! This morning, I'm excited to introduce you to a breakthrough in entertainment that makes all your devices work together intelligently. A breakthrough called Xbox Smart Glass.
How many times have you been watching an episode of South Park and thought, I'd like to be able to watch this on my television while hooked into my mobile device, which is being controlled by my tablet device, which is hooked into my oven, all while sitting in the refrigerator?
At Xbox, we're ushering in a new golden age of entertainment. Ushering.
Check this out.
Thinking about what I do to your body, I get you like, ooh, baby, baby, ooh, baby, baby. Ooh, baby, baby, ooh, baby, baby. Got no pain in my hand, but I'm wasted. Get up! All the thoughts of you naked. I get you like, ooh, baby, baby, ooh, baby, baby. Ooh, baby, baby, ooh, baby, baby.
Thanks, everyone, and have a great E3.
And we are back. I'm back on the host floor. It's Chris Waters here, and I'm very excited because we've got Far Cry 3 to show you off now. Joining me to my left down the line, we've got Dan Hay, Mark Thompson, and Kelly, a.k.a. Mrs. Violence. Dan and Mark, of course, with Ubisoft Montreal, and Kelly, just a real big super fan of Far Cry, apparently.
Oh, big time. Big Ubisoft fan in general.
Excellent. So, Dan, you guys made quite a showing in multiple press conferences yesterday, and people are getting really excited about Far Cry 3. You guys had a great showing last year at E3, but this year, showing off a little bit differently. The protagonist seems a little more confident. He's not sort of, oh no, I'm stuck on this island. I guess I can use this gun. He's taking the fight to the bad guys.
Yeah, last year I think you had E3 last year. We showed Jason when he was sort of just at the beginning of the journey, and he comes to the island and probably says a couple things he shouldn't have, or walks into the wrong room and
has
meets
a few
Voss.
too many drinks.
Exactly.
Yep.
Right. And he meets Voss, and Voss pretty much teaches him the facts of life in a very, very quick way, and he's got to deal with it. So he throws him down a cenote, and you got this sense of, okay, well, Jason's this young guy. How is he going to survive? This year it's different though, right? He's been on the island for a while. He's met Citra, that everybody's talking about. Everybody's talking about Citra.
They seem to get along well.
They do.
I guess you could say.
There's some kind of a bond there, I think.
Yes.
And she's sort of taught him the ways of the warrior. And if you look, he's got the tattoos on his arm, and he's starting to really be able to handle it. He understands the jungle, and now it's all about payback.
And he seems to have quite a formidable force of allies as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing that we wanted to do with the game was make sure that we put you in a situation where you could almost use the jungle like a supermarket. And you start to be able to learn the jungle and learn the ways of the warrior. And, we've got Citra and the tribe that's there, this indigenous people that live there. You're learning all these skills, and then you start to be able to go, all right, I'm going to go back and I'm going to take on Voss. Do I have the ability to do it?
And so we saw some serious taking on going on yesterday. Give us a setup for what we're going to see here in the demo.
Well, what you're doing is you're basically meeting Jason where he said, okay, it's time for payback. I'm going to go to Voss's home territory, and I'm going to take him out.
He's feeling strong.
He's feeling
ready.
good. He's got new weapons. He's got new abilities, and he's ready to go basically clean house.
That sounds appealing to me,
Yeah.
to say the least. What do you think, Kelly?
Really awesome. I mean, I'm super excited for the campaign, but I'm actually really more excited for the multiplayer. And I hear 4-player co-op campaign.
Yeah, last night we got to put that out there. We've got 4-player
All
co-op.
four of us could play right now.
Absolutely.
That's very
Yeah,
exciting. Of
it's
course,
really
we've got Mark running the demo here, so we're going to see some action right now, shall we?
Let's go.
Start it up.
And in case you don't know anything about Far Cry 3, it contains content inappropriate for children.
First second
There's no
of
may
the,
about it.
Oh, there it is. Always enjoyable.
And so this is Citra?
This is Citra. This is actually Voss's sister.
Voss's sister?
Yes.
Yep.
So the family has quite a presence on the island.
Indeed. I mean, you're trapped in sort of this blood feud, and if Voss wasn't pissed off at you before, he is now.
He is now because he presumably has a good relationship with his sister, or at least is protective.
The thing that's interesting about Voss is that he's been through this rite of passage. He's been part of this tribe, and so you're basically looking at a reflection of yourself with Voss. Citra, they hate each other, and now Jason. What he's doing is that taking everything that he's learned from Citra, and he's going to go to Voss. He's going to basically do his best to kill him.
He's going to, so you mentioned, he gets a bunch of new weapons, but you also said new abilities. Yes. Are we going to see some of those in action, or do you want to give us a little preview?
No, you are definitely. I mean, the thing that he's at the very beginning of what we showed last year is like you're seeing Jason when he's just sort of a young pup, but now he's got these abilities. He's going to be able to chain together melee kills. He's going to be able to do water takedowns where he's in the water. He's going to basically come up and gut guys. He's going to be able to do double kills, and you can chain them together, so it's pretty fantastic.
So you've spent some serious time learning how to murder people, because otherwise you're not getting off this island.
A little bit.
And but he's not just about I need to go home. He's after vengeance.
Well, that's the thing. We wanted to make sure that we took a guy and we put him in a situation where can you survive this? And if you start to be able to survive it long enough, do you start to like it? There's no question that you're leaving your mark on the island, but the island is leaving its mark on you. And when you start to meet your friends and you meet the people that you came with and you manage to rescue some of these folks, the reality is, are they going to recognize you when you show up?
Are they going to be like, oh, hey, he's that guy?
Yeah.
Oh, are they going to recognize you when you come back?
Yeah, when you one of the things we talked about as developers is we were like, Imagine Jason goes to be on the island, and he calls his mom, and he says, hey, look, Mom, I'm having a great time. We're going to go to this island. It's going to be really cool. By the end of the game, if you survive, and you call Mom, she doesn't recognize your voice.
Mom, your voice is not going to sound like that same old Jason.
You're going to be changed.
Oh, and not because someone has stabbed you in the throat like you just did to that guy.
That's the water takedown I was talking about.
That's satisfying. First second of the game.
Sneak up and then kill him.
Instant kill right off a dock.
And there's that lush, look at the lush jungle you were talking about. Now, of course, the size of the map and the scope of the game, you guys revealed a little bit more about that, talking about an entire archipelago, not just one island.
Yeah, I mean, for us, I mean, you look at the graphics for us, we wanted to make sure that it felt, you could almost smell the jungle, you could feel the heat. And when you look at the size of the game, the scope of the game, not one island, not two, it's the archipelago we talk about. And the idea that if you can see it, you can go there. This is the chain kill right there, where Jason can chain anything. The most I've ever seen somebody do is actually chain together 7 kills. It's pretty impressive. Yeah,
That's
I can't
the record.
Wow.
I can't do
that there's a challenge for you.
I think I take it on.
So the world is completely alive. Jason has the option to go in stealthy. He's got to be careful. There's snipers around. And the thing is that we saw it yesterday in the demo. The game's completely systemic. So if you look at Mark's face right now, a little bit of pressure.
Now, when you say systemic, what do you mean by that?
Basically, the AI is smart, and it feels like the game is alive. They know you're there. They want to take you out. Mark's not sure where they're going to come from. He's not sure which weapon he should use. And so for us, making sure that you can play the game the way you want to play it. Mark's going a little bit Rambo right now, I think. But
can't rely on that bow the whole time.
The thing that we want to be able to do is, if you want to be a contemplative player, and you want to sit back and you want to pick guys off, you can do that. If you want to go in guns blazing, you can do that. The thing is that the AI has got to be responsive. So if Mark's not careful, we've got guys who've got Molotov cocktails, they'll come out, they'll start a fire, the whole place will start burning down. We've got all the systemic fire from Far Cry 2, and the world is alive. You're hearing the animals, you're feeling it, and what you're actually going to see, and you're going to see it a little further on here, is if you're good, and if you do it smart, you can actually use the animals as a weapon.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday.
Yeah.
I saw that, and I got a little scared about PETA, but I think it's all in video games, so they won't harm.
It's pretty cool, right? I mean, if there's tigers out there, or if you run into a Komodo dragon, and you're smart about it, you can actually use them as part of your team to go out there and do some kills.
Yeah, there's a lot of dangerous creatures to be found in Southeast Asia and in these islands here.
Yeah, we got a ton of animals. The world is alive, and the idea for us was, with a game this big, we want to make sure that it's about discovery, right? Yeah, you got a gun in your hand, and there's no question that it's a hell of a lot of fun to just shoot stuff. But the idea is that there's always something tantalizing you around the corner. So you've got animals, you've got cool vehicles. If you're flying over the island, or if you're parachuting down, or whatever it is you're doing, you're getting that sense of the island being big and that sense of discovery.
And now, so this is another one of those encounters where it could go any way. He could jump down onto the ground right now if he wanted to.
Yeah.
And I had a feeling that's what you guys were trying to do in the press conference yesterday.
Yeah.
Didn't quite make the jump then, but I'm glad you did now.
You saw my face, my heart skipped like 8 beats on stage. It's like, okay, we're going this way now.
Sure,
That's cool.
It's fine. No, he's coming around. He's still got the knife.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
He's cool. Yeah. Oh, that was quite a kick. Oh, and that's the, he pulls the pin.
Basically, you can go up to a guy, a myriad of different kills that you can make. And in this case, you actually pull the pin, drop him in, and then use him as a grenade.
And there's the actual
the tiger
eating a person.
But
now they'll come after you.
Yeah.
Is it automatic, or are they going to go after all AI?
That tiger is going to behave like a tiger. So if right there, it's going after Mark. Mark's got to be careful.
Oh gosh. No, PETA.
So we've got questions coming in from the chat room, some of which are just being answered immediately, like Flying Scoot. Yes, it totally has fire like Far Cry 2, and it's still really dangerous. We have a lot of people clamoring to know about co-op possibilities.
Yeah.
Because you showed off a 4-player co-op mode during the press conference yesterday. That's separate from the campaign.
It is, yeah. When we talked about this a lot when we wanted to make sure that Far Cry, you still had that alone in the jungle feel. And so for us, it wasn't about sort of making sure that people are around you. And for us, co-op needed to be separate. We wanted to protect that single-player experience, make you feel alone, give you that sense of tension, and offer you something completely different. And candidly, it's practically 2 games. It is 2 games when you think about it. You've got Jason, who's having this immersive single-player experience, and if you want to roll in and just have a hell of a lot of fun, co-op.
co-op, absolutely. And you guys, yeah, definitely seemed like you were having a good time yesterday. All right, so
this is where it gets a little weird, a little trippy.
It's a little creepy here.
He gets you with like the little poison knife or something, and then you go hallucinating.
It goes sideways. There's no question. It goes sideways. This, and for us, this is, you know, we really want Voss to get inside your head. He's a great character. We got a lot of great acting from it. And in this case, what you're seeing is you're actually seeing some of the things that Voss has been doing. He's been getting in your head, haunting Jason. And there's hints to the open world in here. There's hints to different elements of the game story. So if you watch very, very carefully, there's definite hints in there.
So you can catch, there is some truth or
there is
a meaning to be drawn out from these sequences.
Yep. That's Jason.
But it just gives you guys, it seems like it gives you guys a lot more narrative freedom to just be playful and creative and have them walk along a bed of TVs.
Yep, exactly.
Instead of the yellow brick road, we got the TV brick road.
For us, it's about that, you know, almost an Alice in Wonderland feel, right?
Absolutely.
Going down the rabbit hole and this sense of what's going to happen. Is it real? Isn't it real? You're asking questions. And Voss is very much inside your head.
It's so hard to see that in shooters nowadays, so I'm really excited to see a psychological, you know, defense instead of, you know, ongoing shoot, kill, shoot, kill. So this is really trippy.
When we talk about having the different brands of insanity, we talk about the different characters, we want it to be everywhere. Sometimes it's Voss, sometimes it's the doctor that you've already met, sometimes it's Jason himself, sometimes it's Citra, we're not sure.
Let's go shoot me! Let's go shoot me! Shoot me!
That is a... He's an interesting fella, Voss.
He definitely is. There's no question.
But then, you know, you do that sort of that quick flash where you see yourself in him, and that resonates back with what you were saying earlier about sort of you're inculcated in that same cult warrior cult that he is.
Yep.
Let's just wrap up a few of these player questions coming in here. Folks are wondering about the experience system and like leveling up and acquiring new weapons. So, is there something in place where you know you get a certain amount of kills and it's you level up or something like that?
It's completely immersive. For us, if you actually look at the demo, you can see that Jason's got the tattoos up his arm. Those tattoos are a reflection of the quest that you've been on, some of the weapons that you've got, some of the things you've done.
Nice.
The goal for us was to make sure that the island leaves its mark on you. And that, you know, you go home,
literally
you
and
play the game,
figuratively.
literally and figuratively. You go home, you go to work, you're talking, oh, did you get that tattoo? You see your buddy's tattoo? Well, where the hell did you get that? That's awesome.
What the?
And you actually see the progression of the player written on his arm.
And what about weapon customization was another one that folks are wondering about.
We got some pretty cool stuff. We got some great weapons. We got a little bit of customization that we're putting on top to make sure that those weapons are yours. And yeah, I mean, the weapons in the game, you take a look at the bow, you take a look at the knife, there's stories in there. Jason had to effectively become the warrior in order to get that bow. And there's nothing more satisfying than going out hunting in Far Cry with that bow. Absolutely satisfying.
Ooh. Stalking an animal through one of the various jungles.
The other day that we were out, we were hunting water buffalo, and we're out basically just walking around hunting water buffalo, and then out of nowhere, a Bengal tiger comes out and attacks, and all of a sudden I've got to jump in the truck and blister away from the tiger. The tiger's coming, then there's two tigers. I mean, it's immersive. It's very much alive.
And it's not these kind of tiger where you're like, oh yeah, it's just a tiger. You know, I could take it out, no problem. Like,
it's tough.
Very dangerous beast.
Very dangerous. Absolutely.
Amazing.
Very cool. Kelly, what do you think? You think you could do some good water buffalo hunting?
Oh yeah. I mean, I hunt all the time, you know. That's what I do. I'm super excited for multiplayer, and I did get a chance to check it out at PAX East with GameSpot.
Yeah.
And do you think that's going to influence esports at all? Because we're kind of on the down rise right now for shooters, and you know, Far Cry is actually fast and it has a little bit of a slow feel, so players can do whatever they want. But I'd really like to see Far Cry 3 in esports, and I think it deserves an actual, you know, chance among the biggest titles out right now.
I think for us, when you talk about Far Cry, we want to give you different pieces of the insanity, right? We're doing it with characters, we're doing it with the shooting, we're doing it with the exploration. We're making sure that you're going to be able to play the game you want to play.
Right.
And so for us, it's a huge, huge game, a giant offering, and we want everybody to check it out.
Yeah, that's all multiplayer, like super customizable, and I think a lot of Call of Duty kids are gonna just jump right into this game and actually switch.
If you're a shooter fan, you're gonna be great at this game. You're gonna be able to come in, you're gonna be able to play with your friends. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Top of the leaderboards right here, everyone. Top of the leaderboards.
Right on.
And we're gonna wrap up with one more question about this. People are really intrigued by the idea of the archipelago. Of course, Far Cry has been always known for the expansive maps. And how are you going to traverse around this area? You know, what kind of vehicles? Bassline Pigeon wants to
There's
know.
a lot of different ways to cover the islands. You've got boats, you've got trucks, you've got some things that can fly. You've got. I don't want to give away too much.
Hey.
I mean, for me, the thing that I really love to do is just hop on an ATV and just burn all over the place. It's just so much fun.
That sounds like a good time, Dan.
Yeah.
And of course, Far Cry 3 looking gorgeous, and just the various demos you guys have been showing off, super inspiring in terms of what kind of combat you can get into, and really the psychological element of the story, which is what I'm super intrigued by.
No, we're getting a lot of buzz and people are loving it.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming by and showing off Far Cry 3. I gotta ask you, when's it coming out?
It's coming out this September on the PC, 360, and PS3.
You're making a lot of people happy
Cool.
out there, Dan. Thanks
dude.
so much.
Appreciate it.
Much
Cheers.
appreciated. All right, folks, coming up next, we got another biggie, Halo 4. But before that, we're checking in with Brendan Sinclair and the latest news here at E3.
E3 is going to be the press conferences. We had the Nintendo press conference this morning. Big thing there, right off the bat, Shigeru Miyamoto comes out and he shows off Pikmin 3. Last couple of years, he's kind of teased it. He said, yeah, we're working on a new Pikmin. This time, he actually came with the game. He showed it, and that was sort of the high point of the conference. It was really cool looking Wii U gamepad integration. You're going to get to be able to use the Wii U tablet to sort of it'll be like a map that kind of shows you the full and you can kind of tactically dictate to 4 different Olimar-like adventurers the way that you want them to go around the levels. Other things from the Nintendo conference. They did confirm that there's going to be 2 Wii U gamepads usable on a single system. Last year at the show they said it was limited to 1, so they've changed the specs since then. Other Nintendo first-party things, Wii Fit U and Sing. So a couple of casual titles there with Wii Fit U obviously is just the next step for the balance board fitness franchise. And then Sing is sort of an interesting combination karaoke and dance game where they have one person holding the Wii U gamepad, getting the lyrics scrolling by for them, and then everyone else dancing to cues on the big screen, and every now and then with the chorus shoutouts coming on through there. As far as third-party games go, Lego City Undercover was a big hit in the GameSpot War Room. It looks almost like a Grand Theft Auto style open world game, but with that charming Lego twist. Scribblenauts Unlimited was another one that they mentioned. That's going to be kind of just the next evolution from Scribblenauts and Super Scribblenauts from Fifth Cell and Jeremiah Slaska. And then 3DS games, Super Mario Brothers 2, Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon, and then Paper Mario Sticker Star, which is going to incorporate stickers somehow into the gameplay. It seems like as you use your powers, they will peel off of the screen. Third-party stuff that was big, Batman Arkham City Armored Edition, Mass Effect 3, and Tekken Tag 2 all coming to the Wii U. Tekken Tag was especially cool, I thought, of course, because I like Tekken. And they incorporated some Mario-like growing and shrinking into the little clip of gameplay that we saw. It should really mix up a series that could kind of use some tweaks like that. After the Nintendo show, they showed us Platinum Games. They're the developer of Vanquish and Bayonetta, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. They showed off their first Wii U title, and they showed it off right here on the stage show. P100 is the name of it, and it's sort of a superhero game where you are controlling a mass of superheroes that collectively have abilities. It looks really cool. I'm sure you can check out the archived version of our stage show for a closer look on that. And beyond that, the 3DS games, you might have noticed that there was only a few of them mentioned. Nintendo made a big deal about how they just had so little time in the show to get to everything that they had. And that's why Sunday afternoon they had their hardware showcase where they showed off some of the online features of the Wii U. And then tomorrow night they're going to have a 3DS-specific games showcase here at the Convention Center. And we'll be covering that as well. You can also stream that on Nintendo's official site. We're not sure exactly which 3D games they'll announce there, but if you're an owner of the portable, that'll definitely be something to look forward to. Other things today that are happening, Microsoft has expanded its Xbox 360 pricing promotion. At Microsoft stores recently, you've been able to buy an Xbox 360 for $100 when you commit to a 2-year Xbox Live Gold subscription. In the long run, it winds up being a little bit more expensive, but it's a way to get the system into players' hands for less money up front. And if this takes off, and it looks like that pilot program did well because it's being expanded to all US Best Buy stores and some GameStop stores, a lot of people think this is the way we might be buying our next generation of systems. Instead of paying $599 US for a PlayStation 3, maybe we can just pay a couple hundred for a PlayStation 4 or something, and then commit to a longer-term premium subscription. Other news, something that was kind of lost in the shuffle yesterday, when EA announced at its press conference that it was picking up the UFC license and producing a game based on that, THQ at the same time said it was getting rid of the UFC license. It had sold it to EA essentially, and as part of that, developers at THQ San Diego were laid off. Now that's the studio that made. They didn't make the previous UFC games for Yuke's. That was sorry, for THQ. That was Yuke's, but they did make WWE All Stars, and beyond that, they've also. They used to be Midway San Diego, and they made TNA Impact for that publisher during its twilight days. Going back to yesterday, Microsoft kicked things off with their press conference, and Halo 4 was the big story there, of course. They showed it off, 343 Industries' first Halo game. It was different. It definitely looked different from Bungie's Halo 3, ODST, and Reach, which was a nice change for the series. It introduced a few new enemy types, some Forerunner weapon technology, and then Microsoft made a big deal about the Smart Glass app. That's the app that goes on, it'll be on tablets, mobile phones, PC, and it's not just Microsoft stuff, it's also going to be iOS and Android. And what that's going to do is it's going to let you interface with your Xbox remotely for a whole bunch of ways, not all of which are completely detailed yet. You should be able to start watching a movie on your tablet and then come home, pick up right where you left off on the TV, and then your tablet will switch to like an IMDb-like kind of data on it. But there was so much more from that, I can't go into it right now. Here, we're ready on the stage, so Chris, back to you.
Thanks, Brendan. A lot of news to digest here from E3. It's a very exciting time, of course, in video games. Speaking of exciting times, Halo 4 is on set now. We're putting the final touches on getting it set up. So while we do that, I'm going to toss you off to a quick tape segment, and then we're coming back for Halo 4, folks. Don't go away. 2, 1. Sorry to make you wait, folks, but it's going to be worth it because it's time to check out Halo 4. Joining me on set, we've got Josh and Ray from 343 Industries, and we're joined by Tom T-Squared Taylor on the end here. Guys, it is a really exciting day to have Halo 4 here on the set here at E3.
Yeah, we're excited. We're excited to finally be able to show the game after working on it for so long. So.
Yeah, it's been quite some time for you guys, huh?
Yeah, it's been on 3 years, give or take. So.
Well, you made an excellent showing at the press conference yesterday, and I think the demo we're going to see today is that same demo, but we've got you here so we can mine you for all the information you can possibly give us.
Excellent.
So let's start it up, and it begins with that cinematic and introduces us to the ship, the Infinity.
That's right. This is the first time that the player and the Master Chief is introduced to the Infinity, which then goes on to play an important role in the campaign as well as becoming kind of the centerpiece for our new multiplayer experience, Halo Infinity multiplayer.
Okay, which we will talk about a little bit later. We've got some multiplayer footage to check out. But here's Master Chief, and he's had a nice long rest in the dark depths of space, presumably, after the ends of Halo 3.
That's right, yeah. Halo 4 picks up right where Halo 3 left off, so it's a continuation of that story. And so Chief and Cortana have been drifting aboard the derelict Forward Unto Dawn. They arrive at this really mysterious Forerunner planet of Requiem, crash land on that planet. This mission that we're showing off here actually takes place a little further on into the campaign. So the first mission of the campaign is Chief and Cortana and their descent into the planet.
Now, speaking of mysterious spherical objects, what the hell is that thing?
Yeah, that is a mysterious object. We're not talking too much in detail about that.
What do you think, Tom? What's your read on that thing?
I honestly don't know. I was just surprised at all the graphics and animation right there. I was checking to make sure that the light was bouncing off the clouds correctly how it should be, and I'm just blown away by everything Halo, man. I'm speechless.
Yeah, we have a whole team of world-class artists who have been working on this, and they've done just an amazing, amazing job. So Chief and Cortana are stranded on this planet, and what better way to get off of the planet than to rescue a downed UNSC ship? Got the Infinity there in the background, and so they set off to try and rescue the downed Infinity.
And is this yet another incarnation of the beloved battle rifle?
It is, yeah. So you'll see, in this demo we actually have a couple of new weapons that you've never seen before. We also reintroduce the battle rifle and all of the familiar weapons there. You've got the AR as well. These have all been lovingly recreated and updated to match the visual style.
The AR sound is just phenomenal. It sounds like you're really doing some destruction with that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Tajin and his team have done an amazing job on the sound effects and just the whole soundscape, working with Neil Davidge as the composer on the game. It's pretty cool. So you can see all the detail that we put into the jungle. We've fully updated the engine, the graphics.
So that I just spotted like a floating manta ray kind of alien.
You didn't see anything like that.
There's like indigenous species up there. You folks are going to have to rewind the stream to check that one out, or maybe we'll catch another glimpse. But these jungles are teeming with life that's not necessarily the Covenant or those nasty orange dudes that want to shoot you later.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, this is a living world. So as you explore Requiem, you're going to go to all kinds of different locations. This is a very lush jungle location, and this is kind of the setting for this particular mission. But as Chief and Cortana make their way through here, it's obvious that they're not alone. There's this is a dangerous environment. There's all kinds of dangers that may be lurking around every corner.
I noticed there's a lot of nav points so far from what I've seen in all the footage. Is that something that you guys try to do, is implement more nav points so the game could go more fluently?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we definitely pay a lot of attention to is making sure that players understand, where it is that they need to go or what's expected of them, depending on the situation. Like if part of a particular mission is allowing the player to explore more freeform, then that's what we do. But, you see here the Covenant makes their return. There's a lot of kind of story that's gone into the intervening years between Halo 3 and Halo 4. But of course, as you see here, this isn't the only enemy that's out in the jungle looking for Master Chief.
Now, we got folks asking about the return of the DMR, obviously a very beloved weapon, but this battle rifle fires in 3-round bursts.
This does fire in 3-round bursts. We also have the DMR in the game as well. So you've got your choice of either the BR or the DMR, depending on what you prefer.
Now, would that be... So this is kind of different, because typically if you're going to pick a starting weapon, it would either be a Covenant weapon or it would be a human weapon. Is there typically more human weapons than Covenant weapons in Halo 4?
So you have your pick of both human and Covenant weapons, and there's an expanded sandbox for both. One of the things that we've done on the multiplayer side is really given players the ability to kind of customize their loadouts and optimize for their own personal play style. And so as you see, Ray's going to make his way up here. You get your first look at one of the new enemies in the game. This is an enemy class we call the Prometheans, and this particular guy is called the Crawler. And the Crawlers are really, they're not too intimidating when you're dealing with them one-on-one. They're pretty easy to take out, but when you're dealing with them in packs, they get a little bit more dangerous.
The thing that strikes me about these enemies, and actually about the way that enemy killed the elite earlier, is they don't die and just like lay dead on the ground. They evaporate, they sizzle into like little pieces of film. Like, does that work into the mythology of what these creatures are all about?
Absolutely, yeah. There's part of the story in Halo 4 is sort of discovering the mystery behind these new enemies that you've never seen before and how they fit in. And speaking of which, here you've got kind of the commander of the battlefield. This is the Promethean Knight, and what you're going to see in just a moment, he's pretty badass. He can actually spawn a support unit called the Watcher, and so Watchers can sort of protect the Knight. You see him there shielding him with hard light.
Oh, so the Watcher's deploying
and he
the
just
shield.
caught that grenade.
Yeah, exactly.
And
the
he
Watcher
just threw it back at you. Can you actually get
he
stuck
did,
by
yeah.
that grenade?
So he caught the grenade there. If you take out the Watcher, you can get him to drop that grenade, which can obviously work in your favor.
I noticed when he's shooting this weapon that there's sort of a bloom inside of that. Now, if he shoots faster and faster, will that reticle continue to expand?
So yeah, there's a little bit of bloom there. With the BR, we've also got a little bit of recoil that you can feel when you're firing it that just sort of gives you a little bit more of a realistic feel to it. Whereas the DMR is sort of more laser tight on the single shot.
And speaking of weapons, what do you call this guy?
So this is the light rifle. This is a Forerunner weapon. It fires in either a triple shot burst or a powerful single shot when you're scoped in. And it's kind of unique in that regard that it has these two different firing modes depending on whether you're firing, kind of freeform or zoom.
Yeah, that's not something Halo has traditionally done, is the multiple fire modes.
That's right. Yeah, that's totally new. And so here's another ability that you see the Watcher doing. He's spawning a group of crawlers, and you can see Ray taking him out when he's caught that grenade, drops down below. And here we've introduced another Knight. This is the Lancer. The Lancer can close distance really, really quickly. And so one of the things you can expect, within this new enemy class is all of the variation and variety that you've come to expect from Halo enemies.
But it's nice to see that though the alien life may be multifarious and diverse, there's still the universal language of headshots.
That's right, yeah. Headshots are good. We love them.
Now, can we touch base on this gun a little
yeah.
bit? Because this looks like a shotgun right here.
Yeah, it's kind of the Forerunner version of a shotgun. And what you can see with all the Forerunner weapons is they kind of form into place and suit the person who's wielding it, so they kind of adapt to the user. This is really, really powerful up close. As you saw, he took out the Knight with the one shot. It also has the ability to rebound off of objects and surfaces.
So you could bounce shot someone.
Yeah, exactly. I've actually had some great trick shots in multiplayer where I've shot around corners at someone who's trying to get away from me and taken them out. It's hard to pull off because it does have a really limited range. But when you do it, it's really satisfying.
Now, one thing that I noticed just from a quick glance is the reloading actions seem to be a little bit faster, and also the rate that you can shoot after you reload.
Yeah, definitely. We've put a lot of time and attention into all of the animations. The animation team's updated a lot of the familiar animations in the game. And what you're going to see here, Ray's just going to show off a new ability called Promethean Vision that people have heard a lot about. This is great when you've got limited visibility, like in this foggy scenario here, and when he shifts it on, it sort of pulses out like sonar, and all of the enemies in the nearby area are shown, and that actually allows you to see through solid objects as well. So no more camping in Halo multiplayer. If someone's got Promethean Vision, they're going to be able to pick you up even if you're dead still.
Very cool. Can you shoot in that mode, in that vision, or when you get hit, do you get taken out of that?
No, you can shoot in that vision, and when you get hit, you don't get knocked out, but it does have a really, really limited duration.
Okay.
In multiplayer, that's one of the ways that we balance it. It can also be fooled with other abilities. So.
Now, would this be considered almost as powerful as, say, the overshield or camouflage in old Halos?
So it's balanced against all of the other armor abilities that are
Okay.
available to you in the multiplayer experience. So, you know, each one of them kind of has its strength and its weakness. And I think one of the things we've talked about in the past is, yes, this allows you to see through solid objects, and that's awesome and cool. But, you know, if you're a great Halo player, you don't need that. You know, you can kind of read the radar, you understand what's going on. So this becomes maybe less useful and less powerful when you're playing against a more skilled player.
Very excellent. Now, I just want to give a shout out to the folks who are asking questions in the chat room. You guys are asking so many questions so fast and furiously that you broke Google. They're not sending them through because they're thinking that we're some kind of spam organization. So I'm not ignoring you, I promise. And besides, between Tom and I, we've got questions aplenty for Josh and Ray. But now we're going to shift gears a little bit and take a look at some multiplayer in action.
Yeah, that's right. So, you know, the big thing with Halo 4 is we're kind of redefining what Halo multiplayer is with Halo Infinity multiplayer. And this is a new story-driven multiplayer experience. So for the first time, we're connecting our multiplayer experience to campaign through story and providing kind of a narrative structure or context for all of the experiences that you have there. So you've got, you know, these two main modes that make up Infinity multiplayer. War Games is your traditional competitive, you know, PvP experience. And then we have a new experience that we're calling Spartan Ops, which is an episodic cooperative adventure that takes place over an entire season of play. So basically you get a new episode every week, tells a little bit of story, you're following that story, along with that come 5 missions each week that you and your friends can take part in.
Excellent. And now
Seems like almost like a play off the daily and weekly challenges,
Yeah.
but way more intense.
It's funny that you say that, because that was definitely one of the inspirations for the team, was thinking about, like, how do we take that idea of giving players a reason to come back every day and every week, and just kind of like take that even further. And then, of course, use story, which I think is one of the great things about the Halo universe.
So we're taking a look at the multiplayer trailer right here. And Chapter 4, Sacred, this is sort of the story cutscenes tied into
You're
it.
seeing the cutscenes from the episodes that are coming out each week. And then you see, you know, you've got 5 new missions or chapters that launch along with that episode. And here you're seeing footage from Spartan Ops. And everything that you're doing as a player is then feeding into your progression and allowing you to customize your Spartan so that you can, you know, decide what kind of weapons and abilities you want to take into battle with you.
So what kind of ops are we talking about here? Because ops can be a pretty catch-all term. I mean, some of these clips are reminiscent of Firefight, but then, you know, you guys have also talked about there being specific objectives within the ops. What,
So
what's
you've got,
the format?
you've got, you know, this whole story framework that goes around it with the episodes that tie into the missions. The missions have, you know, VO and objectives and, you know, characters that will talk to you in the PIP. So you'll see their face interacting with you as you're on the battlefield. They're playable as solo missions if you want, but they definitely get a lot more fun when you're playing with, you know, 2 or more players, and lots of opportunities for cooperative play. So yeah, it's something that we're super excited about.
Very cool. Tom, how does this all sound to you?
Sounds awesome.
You're huge on the Halo tournament scene.
Yep.
Obviously, it's one of the top Halo players in the country. Halo 4 looking good?
Yeah, it looks great so far. I like that idea. My main question is the maps, because I don't mean to go back to Halo Reach, but there was only, I think, 6 launch maps, and then the Forge system, which was new and improved, of course, but it was lacking in color. Everything was very gray and dull. So what are you guys doing about that?
So we have 10 maps for competitive and war games that we're launching with. None of those include, you know, Forge spaces. That will be a separate experience that we're not talking about in detail right now. And then, you know, we've also talked about the limited edition getting you participation in the 3 map packs that we have planned coming out post-launch. So that'll be another 9 maps of content that we bring online once we've launched the game. So we definitely heard from fans how they want, you know, more content, more map content, and experiences
Very cool.
to play.
Very cool, because the amount of maps that you guys put out, you guys will, you know, typically put 6 or 7 maps in a map pack, and yeah, 3 of these are great for big team battle, and the other 3 are great for up close combat and, say, Major League Gaming. So that was my main concern. I love the loadouts. I think everything looks great, and I think Halo 4 is going to be exactly what that is. It's Halo 3, Halo 4. It's the next running. Halo Reach didn't have the best sales, and I think it was because it was the prequel. I think everyone's going to be super stoked for this, and I think so far, obviously, best game at E3, in my opinion.
Wow, that's great to hear you say that, man.
I can't wait to play. I haven't played yet.
Yeah,
This
you
is
gotta
driving
come
me
by
insane.
and play it in the theater, definitely. Yeah, we're showing playable multiplayer in the Halo 4 theater, so people come in, check out the demo that you just saw live, talk a bit about Infinity, and then get in there and play war games.
And I think we're going to have to get Tom over there as soon as possible, because he looks like not being able to play Halo 4 is literally killing him from the inside. Actually, Tom, we're going to keep you around for the next segment because we've got another great shooter coming up. But Josh, Ray, thank you so much for coming by and showing off Halo 4. The game is looking great. It's showing super well, and I know a lot of people here are really psyched to see it.
Thanks. It's our pleasure. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. Cheers. Next up, folks, it's Medal of Honor Warfighter, and we're going to be bringing that to you real quick, so we're just going to step away for a sec and come back.
you doing?
Awesome. Me, this? Okay, perfect. Awesome. Thank you. It's been really great. You know, we've had a lot of people stop us, you know, in the halls walking over here, said they saw the game, loved the game. Big surprise, you know, we showed a lot of content at the press conference, you know, the full 7-minute single player demo, and then we had a multiplayer trailer, and then all the stuff we've got on the floor as well. So it's been real positive.
And now we're going to get another look at that demo
Yeah.
second now. And you folks are going to get the chance to ask them all your questions. I'm monitoring it. We're having a little trouble with them coming from but hopefully we'll get you guys, keep you guys busy with getting us the video. All right, cool. So Medal of Honor Warfighter, we saw the demo yesterday. It was like a quantity version. So we're not in mountains of Afghanistan.
No, so you know, as I said in the conference, you know, every single mission in this game has a dotted line to an actual event or a real world hotspot, and in this case, it's Somalia. And this is actually a follow-on mission from the previous night, actually, where we have a mission that's inspired by the Captain Phillips rescue that happened. You know, he was taken by Somali pirates in 2009. And you know, as storytellers, we asked ourselves, what if? You know, what if we took an entire squadron of Tier 1 operators, linked them up with the United States Marine Corps, and shut the pirate problem down for good? And so, you know, the authentic mission is the night before, and this is sort of our riff on what could have happened if they got the go-ahead to wipe the
A lot of dream team.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 12 different Tier 1 units from 10 different nations. And, you know, when, you know, we've worked with over, you know, 24 guys from the special operations community, and, you know, just talking to them and, you know, getting that authentic flavor, that authentic feel, everything from speech, you know, cadence of speech, to missions, to gear, to weapon systems, and you know, just really helping us with the pacing and setting up these encounters. No, absolutely. You know, it's that battle chatter, right? It's that sense of the guys doing what they do, but keeping themselves, you know, squared away and doing what they need to do. You know, and they've helped us with that. You know, this story is actually written by two of the guys. Two of the guys we'll work with, they wrote this story while deployed
we got
overseas.
We got pulled out.
Oh no!
We'll have to restart it.
All right. As a result of our little audio foibles
Look at this,
here,
live show.
Yeah.
We've got someone tripped over the Xbox 360 controller, popped out. We're
controller.
just gonna have to restart the demo real quick here, folks.
Like, what's going on here?
This is awesome.
You thought you'd lost your touch there for a second.
I did. I was like, dude, it's just Mojo out, all in one, like expired.
All right, well, now, while we wait to check out that single-player demo again, let's talk about multiplayer and Global Warfighter.
Yep.
Because you guys talked about it yesterday at the press conference and sort of, you know, indicated that you would be choosing a faction, choosing your alliance. Or sort of, you know, you roll with the SEALs, you roll with the SAS. You know, is that how that works? Or clarify a little bit for us what the structure's like.
So like I said, it's 12 different units, 10 different nations, and we look to the guys to tell us, hey, you know, who should we represent? What should those units be? And as I said, you know, we took a page out of the FIFA playbook, and we wanted to give gamers a chance to experience national pride in a first-person shooter. You know, wave that flag, play for the home team, and just become one of the best in global competition. So when you you know, kick it off, you will be able to, you know, choose who you fight for, and you know, one of those 12 units, and get in the fight and go to work.
Will that have an effect on the kind of loadout you have and the kind of guns that you get access to early on? Because different agencies tend to use different gear.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the way we've set it up is there's 6 different classes, you know, and like I said, 12 different units, so that's 72 operators. that will be in the game to essentially unlock and play with, and we're working with real gear manufacturers and you know, to bring that authenticity. And you know, we're not talking too much yet about our customization system, but of course, you know, any game, any authentic game about special operations community would require us to be able to allow these guys to outfit, you know, their weapon systems the way they want to, because, you know, just like in professional sports, you know, Kobe Bryant doesn't go to Foot Locker to buy his shoes. His stuff is made specifically for him. And
Custom ordered,
right.
yeah.
It's the same way in the Spec Ops community. These guys literally, you know, their gear, their weapon systems, they roll with what they want. You know, in the big military, they issue your kit and they say go fight. And in the Tier 1 units, you know, everything is custom. You know, down to their tactical nylon gear, to their BDUs. They're tailor-made, and so we're going to allow players in multiplayer to basically, you know, outfit their weapon systems to the way they want to roll with their weapon systems.
All right. It sounds like, you know, you guys have. Do you have sort of all this gear laid out somewhere in the office? I'm picturing like just a giant
We actually have it at our booth.
Yeah.
You can come see almost a full kit set up at our booth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You guys didn't even bring any of it here? Come on.
When it comes down to tactical nylon gear and BDUs and stuff like that, that's all well and good. When you're talking about certain weapon systems, you know, certainly being in the state of California, it's a little bit restrictive on getting that stuff.
On the kind of stuff that you could get access to? I suppose there's a good reason.
Yeah.
All right, so now here we are infiltrating a place that is mysteriously named Pirate Town.
Pirate Town.
I don't know where you guys got that from.
This is essentially it's an enclave, and this is where in this part of the narrative, this part of the story, intelligence has led us here. We're actually looking at something, this thread of PE10 that is the common thread throughout the entire narrative. Intelligence has led us here. And the guys are, like I said, they're rolling with the U.S. Marine Corps, Task Force Grizzly.
Mm-hmm.
We got actually a heavy gunner there from the Marine Corps. That's Voodoo right in front. He's sort of on point, leading you through this to essentially find this stuff, uncover it, and essentially shut it down.
But your stealthy infiltration has gone wrong.
Yeah, again, the main assault force was to the west. With the big Marine force, and you've come in with a small crew with some Force Recon Marines to essentially, like I said, uncover the stuff. And as you saw, you're spotted by a sniper right up front, and there you go. This is our breach mechanic.
Yeah,
here.
let's talk about this, because this is something we only got a glimpse of during the press conference. But there's a weapon wheel there, and I saw a tomahawk. We obviously chose shotgun.
All bunch of cool stuff. Yeah, a lot of different ways to enter a door. And the first thing that Voodoo did is he assessed, and he said, hey, the door was locked, and so since the door was locked, a certain
so there's no unlocking the door.
Well, there's unlocking, but it's a very aggressive unlocking. It's a manly unlock, whether it be a shotgun
it's the
or
master key attachment, not
exactly.
the key itself.
And so you're presented with a number of options once you assess the door, and then there's a secondary option of what you're going to do once that door is open, whether it's some sort of a incendiary or a flashbang or what have you once you get in the door. And then once you get in, as you saw, another menu came up with targets that represent everybody.
Yeah, there's a little
room.
shooting gallery almost.
Yeah,
well, you got to hit them.
Yeah, so what that represents is a time base. So when you go in, and depending on what type of breach you do, there's a certain amount of surprise that you'll have on those enemies inside that room. And so depending on if you get a headshot, you'll get a little extra time. If you get a regular body shot or one of the appendages, that's a standard hit. If you miss, you're going to lose time. And then once that time runs out, then normal game speed will kick back in.
Now, just after that sequence, we sort of doing some long distance shooting and saw a building get blown up. And now you guys are running on the Frostbite engine here.
Frostbite 2.
Frostbite 2. And so people were curious about that in the chat. And PS3 Gamer 1234 wants to know about destruction.
Yeah, destruction's a big part of that engine. And we're all about taking the beast that is Frostbite 2 and actually, making it sing as beautifully as we can. And so we spent a lot of time on taking where they left it with Battlefield 3 and the stuff that they're doing with their expansion packs, and just improving on it and expanding upon that and doing the things that we need to do to tell a really good single-player narrative in this setting. So destruction is a very big part of it. Not only the large-scale destruction, but micro-destruction. meaning that the engagement distances in Medal of Honor are usually much closer than what our colleagues at DICE do with Battlefield, and so we want to get that sense of being in tight spaces and having that cordite in the air from the burnt shell casings and the splintering from the wood and the chips from the cement, and what it would be like to be in a very confined space doing CQB type fighting.
Speaking of confined spaces, right here, piloting a drone. The drone, which while I was watching this earlier, trying to sort of assess like how many guns does this drone have, it just kept having another gun. It kept shooting in a different way. Obviously a powerful little fella.
Yep, taking one out,
so
one right there.
Drone piloting is a new thing to Medal of Honor, right? You guys had that last time?
This is actually it's actually a support action in multiplayer too. It was so friggin' cool. We just decided to bring it over into single player as well. We linked up with the Marines, and this is one of the tools that the Marines have with them. And when we dropped that building with the strikes from the ships off the coast, it became unstable, and so the guys wanted to send in the robot to make sure that things were taken care of. And this section here was our little version of a robotic Medal of Honor moment. His version of jumping on a grenade, buying some time for the Marines to get to cover, and then having Voodoo and the boys come in later.
That noble little robot sacrificing its camera screen.
We took out a bunch of guys at least. Yeah.
Serves his duty as well.
Yeah.
Very cool. We've got a lot of people asking about a lot of different things in this game, but we don't have too much time left to answer. Want to touch back on multiplayer real quick.
Sure.
People are really intrigued about this sort of faction choosing. So if I roll SAS and you're a SEAL, can we team up at any point in multiplayer, or is it pretty much it's me against you, buddy, and we better sign up for the same team?
Yeah, so Task Force Atlas, that was one of the TF Atlas was one of the unit patches that we recently released. And yeah, absolutely. There is actually on the floor here this week, the SAS is not actually on the floor this week, but yeah, so the interoperability of these Tier 1 units, absolutely. They get together, they fight, and you will be able to team up, with other coalition units to fight.
Great news, Greg.
Yeah.
Well, we'll certainly be looking forward to hearing more about that and getting more out of you about how exactly that interplay works in the coming months. Medal of Honor Warfighter, when are you guys scheduled for release?
October 23rd.
October 23rd?
October 23rd, absolutely.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for coming on and showing it off, guys. Nice shooting, Kevin. Good work.
Thank you very much.
All right, folks, our shooter extravaganza continues in just a moment with PlanetSide 2. We'll be back after just a short break.